That day, three men climbed a hill to meet a man waiting at the top, known as Gulick. Upon their arrival, they handed over a bag of money and warned about a bounty hunter named Jonathan Corbett who was hunting them. Corbett had earned a fierce reputation along the Texas-Mexico border, known for enforcing the law swiftly and without mercy, gaining respect from officials and powerful figures alike. Jack, one of the men, doubted that Corbett would cause them any trouble. However, the man called Gulick disagreed, warning that fugitives, especially murderers, faced hanging at Corbett's hands. Then he pointed behind them to a man's body hanging from a tree. At that moment, the three men realized this was no ordinary meeting. They saw that the man before them was not Gulick, but Corbett himself. Without hesitation, Corbett opened fire, killing them all. He came to collect justice, not questions. This is the big gun. Several days later, Corbett attended a lavish wedding party where he met Broxton, a powerful railroad businessman with strong political influence in Texas. Broxton learned that Corbett planned to retire and proposed that he run for senator instead. He promised his full support, explaining that he aimed to build the largest railway connecting the United States to Mexico through Texas. Broxton believed only Corbett could back this project and win public support, thanks to his strong reputation for justice. Motivated by a genuine desire to advance the country and improve people's welfare, Corbett agreed. Meanwhile, two men informed the sheriff, who was also present at the party, that the body of a 12-year-old girl had been found, abused, and stabbed to death. They identified the culprit as Cuchillo Sanchez, a Mexican fugitive fleeing back home. His name, meaning knife in Spanish, matched his weapon of choice. Broxton urged the sheriff to assign Corbett to track down Cuchillo, confident that Corbett's skills and experience made him the best man for the job. Corbett accepted the mission immediately and was given the sheriff's badge. He saw the hunt as straightforward, even joking that catching Cuchillo would be a wedding gift for Broxton's family. Corbett quickly picked up Cuchillo's trail, following leads to a Mexican village. There, he learned that Cuchillo was hiding with a barber and had disguised himself as the barber to evade capture. Although Cuchillo managed to flee, Corbett remained composed, confident that he would catch him soon. Later, Corbett arrived in a nearby town and captured a man he believed was Cuchillo. However, the local sheriff identified the prisoner as Paco Molines, a robber who bore a strong resemblance to Cuchillo. Despite capturing the wrong man, the sheriff appreciated Corbett's effort and was grateful to have Paco off the streets. The next day, Corbett tracked Cuchillo to a spring, where Cuchillo was playing with a girl named Sarah. Corbett raised his pistol and ordered him to surrender. Mistaking Corbett's intent for robbery, Cuchillo knelt and begged for mercy. Suddenly, Sarah shot Corbett from behind, allowing Cuchillo to flee. Soon after, Cuchillo arrived at a ranch and begged a widow for food. Drawn by his youth and looks, she agreed to feed him on the condition that he worked for her. Without hesitation, Cuchillo accepted, but soon discovered his task was to tame a wild bull. After much struggle, he succeeded and led the bull into the pen. The widow then invited him to her room, but when he tried to seduce her, she ordered her men to whip him. Meanwhile, Corbett reached the ranch and found Cuchillo badly injured. He declared his intent to capture the fugitive, but the widow's men blocked his path. Corbett fired warning shots, and just as a shootout seemed imminent, the widow appeared and stopped her men. She apologized to Corbett and agreed to hand over Cuchillo, inviting Corbett for tea while her men guarded the prisoner. While the widow attempted to seduce Corbett, Cuchillo whispered to her men, warning them that she planned to keep Corbett at the ranch. He claimed that if Corbett stayed, he would take over, become their new boss, and eventually eliminate them all. Urging them to unite, Cuchillo asked for a weapon to carry out the attack. The men seemed convinced and prepared to strike. At the same time, the widow pressed Corbett to stay, insisting she needed a strong leader. Corbett refused and prepared to leave. As he opened the door, the widow's men suddenly opened fire on the house. She moved to intervene, but Corbett told her to stay inside for her own safety. During the fierce shootout, Cuchillo told one of the men he would circle around and ambush Corbett from behind. Instead, he stole a horse and fled, revealing his betrayal. Despite the gunfight continuing, Corbett's skill kept him in control. When one of the men tried to sneak up for an ambush while others distracted him, Corbett's sharp instincts allowed him to detect and kill the attacker before a shot was fired. In the end, Corbett defeated all the widow's men, but Cuchillo escaped once again. Without hesitation, Corbett left the ranch, ignoring the widow's desperate pleas to stay and leaving her alone. Sometime later, Cuchillo reached a dry, barren area in search of water. At that very moment, Corbett appeared and immediately aimed his pistol at him. Anticipating Cuchillo's move, Corbett knew this was the only nearby water source. Without hesitation, he tied Cuchillo's hands to prevent another escape. Cuchillo struggled to break free, but when Corbett mentioned breakfast, he gave up and cautiously approached. After Corbett fed him, Cuchillo asked why he was hunting him, noting that they seemed like strangers. Corbett simply replied that Cuchillo was a fugitive and he was a bounty hunter. Suddenly, Cuchillo noticed a snake slithering toward Corbett and quickly hatched a plan. Secretly, he touched Corbett's back with his toe. Corbett turned, spotted the snake, and shot it immediately. Believing he had been bitten, Corbett did not realize that it was actually Cuchillo who had pricked his back. Claiming the snake was venomous, Cuchillo offered to remove the poison if Corbett untied his hands. Corbett agreed and handed over a knife. Cuchillo then heated the blade and pressed it to Corbett's back, causing him to grimace in pain. Seizing the moment, Cuchillo grabbed Corbett's pistol and held him at gunpoint. Instead of shooting, he laughed, mocking Corbett's foolishness. Without hesitation, Cuchillo stole Corbett's horse along with his own, making sure Corbett could not follow. After wandering for 4 days without water, Corbett finally collapsed from exhaustion. A man found him and gave him water. Corbett explained his situation and asked for a horse, but the man refused, needing it to travel with his family. Pressed for time to catch Cuchillo before he crossed into Mexico, Corbett knocked the man out and took his horse and gun. Corbett eventually reached the Mexican border, where he encountered priests tending a garden. He spotted his knife with one priest and asked who had given it to him. The priest explained that a Mexican man, none other than Cuchillo, had passed it along before leaving the day before. Another priest warned Corbett that Cuchillo might already be across the border, reminding him that U.S. laws did not apply in Mexico. If Corbett caused trouble there, he would lose legal protection. Ignoring the warning, Corbett remained focused. His mission was clear: to bring Cuchillo back to Broxton, no matter the cost. Arriving in a small town near the Mexican border, Corbett sought help from the local sheriff to find Cuchillo. However, the sheriff refused, warning him that Corbett's reputation as a bounty hunter meant nothing in Mexico, which had its own laws. He ordered Corbett to return to the United States and threatened punishment if he caused any trouble. Ignoring the warning, Corbett went to a brothel in search of Cuchillo. There, he met Rosita, Cuchillo's wife. Aware that Corbett intended to arrest her husband for murder, Rosita fiercely resisted. She called for help, accusing Corbett of trying to leave without paying. Guards quickly blocked Corbett's path, leading to a violent fight until the sheriff arrived and arrested him. While Corbett was jailed, the sheriff surprisingly also captured Cuchillo and placed him in the same cell. Cuchillo immediately caused a disturbance, claiming that Corbett planned to kill him. As a result, the sheriff moved Cuchillo to a neighboring cell, though this was exactly what Cuchillo had planned. Having been in that prison before, Cuchillo retrieved a hidden knife and used it to break through a wall near the window. He found it strange that Corbett did not alert the sheriff but remained silent. Despite this, Corbett vowed to hunt down Cuchillo and avenge the death of the innocent girl. Annoyed, Cuchillo denied killing the girl and mocked Corbett for trusting rumors without seeking the truth. Soon after, Corbett was released when someone paid his bail. Broxton met him, revealing that he had used his political influence to secure Corbett's freedom. At Broxton's house, they gathered a group of mercenaries to hunt Cuchillo. The search swept through nearby villages, disturbing the locals. Although one of the sheriff's men reported the mercenaries' harsh actions, the sheriff refused to intervene because of Broxton's powerful connections. That night, while Corbett relaxed at Broxton's estate, he discovered that Broxton was forcing his daughter into a business marriage with Chet Miller, heir to a wealthy family backing Broxton's railway project. Meanwhile, a drunken Chet nearly assaulted a servant, but Broxton stopped him and harshly reprimanded his son. It was then revealed that Chet, not Cuchillo, had abused and killed the 12-year-old girl. Broxton blamed Cuchillo to protect his own reputation and shield his daughter from scandal tied to Chet's crimes. Elsewhere, 2 mercenaries arrived at Rosita's house searching for Cuchillo. Showing no mercy, they tortured Rosita to extract information. Hidden in the ceiling, Cuchillo seized that moment to descend and rescue his wife. After killing the mercenaries, he fled quickly. The next day, mercenaries and hunting dogs tracked Cuchillo as he escaped into a cornfield. The massive search pushed into a rocky hill area, where the group split up. Corbett took Chet with him, while Broxton led the rest of the mercenaries. At the rocky hill, Corbett ordered Chet to scout ahead, unaware that Cuchillo was watching from a distance, ready to strike. Silently following Chet, Cuchillo prepared an ambush. Suddenly, Corbett appeared behind Cuchillo, pistol drawn. Cuchillo dropped his slingshot and accused Corbett of being as ruthless as the real killer, trying to hide the truth. Corbett disagreed and aimed his pistol at Chet, ordering him to drop his rifle. Corbett had overheard Broxton and Chet's conversation the night before. Realizing he was being used to cover up a family crime, Corbett split the group to force a confrontation between Chet and Cuchillo. He offered Cuchillo his pistol, but Cuchillo asked for a knife instead, confident in his skill. Corbett threw him a knife just as Chet reached for his pistol. In a split second, Chet fired and missed. Cuchillo's knife found its mark in Chet's head, killing him instantly. Soon after, Broxton arrived demanding answers. Corbett revealed he knew the truth behind the murder and had suspected Broxton's involvement all along. Broxton refused to deny it and ordered his guard, the Baron, to duel Corbett. However, Corbett's shooting was unmatched, and he defeated the Baron with ease. As Corbett aimed at Broxton to finish it, Broxton fled, followed by his loyal mercenaries. From a hilltop, Broxton opened fire on Corbett, but missed every shot. Cuchillo tossed Corbett a long-barreled rifle, and with precise long-range shots, Corbett took Broxton down, killing him. With their leader dead, the mercenaries scattered. The film closes with Corbett and Cuchillo riding away together as friends. Eventually, they part ways. Corbett returns to the United States, while Cuchillo lives free in Mexico. So the moral of the story is never chase a guy named Knife unless you're ready to lose everything, including your dignity.